If I were to give you a list of every single Generation 1 Pokemon and ask you which one is the Dragon type, you would probably say something like Charizard, Gyarados, maybe even the Nidoqueen or King lines. But not this little wiggly boy, that's for sure. Hello everyone, my name is Supreme123 and today I'm going to see if I can beat Pokemon Red with only a Dratini. Dratini and its evolved forms are our first and only introduction to the Dragon type in this first generation of games. Being resistant to 4 of the main types really makes up for its lacking stats, with a base 64 attack stat being the highest that we've got. We've really got to make use of the normal type moves we can learn in that situation, as those are the only physical moves Dratini can learn. Everything else will go for our semi-decent special stat. TM moves are going to be our saving grace in this run, since our level up moves are pretty lacking. Here are the rules of the challenge. I can only use Dratini in battle. I can have other Pokemon in my team for HMs, but they can't be used in battle, no items in battle, and no hacking. This video was also a viewer suggested run, so if you have a specific video you would like me to do, please leave it down in the comment section below. And while you're there, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy these challenge runs. And without further ado, let's get into the challenge. I replaced Bulbasaur with Dratini so that the rival with Charizard, the false Gen 1 dragon. Dratini's Japanese name is Miniryu, so if you got the Street Fighter guy and shrunk him, then you'll have a Dratini. We are starting with a pretty rubbish move set on paper, but Wrap in Gen 1 is god tier as it stops the opponent attacking completely. Mixing that with Leer is how we'll be planning to beat Brock, but that's going to be tough with his team's resistance to normal moves. Getting past level 10 to no avail in the gym and learning Thunder Wave, which will be useful, but not here due to Brock's team being part ground. Many attempts of us missing Wrap and running out of PP, on which is our only attacking moves, means we have to grind a lot, which is tough as Dratini is in the slow EXP group, meaning that it takes more EXP to level up than Pokemon such as Pidgey or your usual starter Pokemon. Geodude is still the catalyst as to how this battle will pan out later, as knocking it out fast and taking minimal damage is key. For the Onix, we have to make sure that all this work we put on the Geodude counts. We have to outspeed the Onix with Wrap and hit it with Leer when it starts to build up damage with Bide. We were left on really low HP and on our last PP of Wrap, we actually land the hit that wins us the first badge. Hopefully the rest of the gyms don't take us that long because that was grueling. Moving to Mount Moon and we get the TM for Water Gun, which will make our trip through here a lot easier as Dratini can actually learn it. And at level 20 we learn another new move in Agility, which could be helpful for the badge boost glitch later on in the game, but spoilers, I won't be utilising that glitch in this run. What we did do however was catch a Spearow for the trade in Vermilion, and went to fight Misty first thing. Now this is a lot easier than expected with the fact I can now use Thunder Wave in addition to Wrap, making this gym a lot easier than the last, getting the badge and the Bubble Beam TM and teaching over Water Gun right away. Not standard practice for myself to beat Misty before actually attempting the rival, but there's a first time for everything. But what there wasn't a first time for was me getting hacked to the core by Pidgeotto's Pocket Sand. On our next attempt it used Sand Attack only once, and despite still missing most of our attacks, we did still come out with the victory. Having Bubble Beam for the Charmander really helps us out in a pinch. After leaving a furry to contemplate his sins, we went to a party fashionably late. So late in fact, that the party is over. A true Giga Chad move. While on the boat I got the TM for Body Slam, one of the best moves in Gen 1, and the best that Dratini could learn alongside something like Hyper Beam. Wrap has been fun, but now it's time for the real fun to begin. Starting by beating the rival, getting revenge from earlier, and getting the Cut HM which I teach to my new far-fetched friend, and then went to the gym, proving that I am the complete Giga Chad of Pokemon challenges by getting the Trash Can puzzle first try. I was a bit nervous going into this battle at first, and even more so when the Voltorb took away a big chunk of our health with Sonic Boom. But then Surge decided to throw the battle from this point onwards, using an X speed on Voltorb and Pikachu being one shot. Raichu is the problem since it is pretty strong, but we managed to paralyze it using his own tactics against him and winning the badge and getting the TM for Thunderbolt. As one last bit of disrespect on Lieutenant Surge's gym, we won't be using it on electric type like he says, we'll be using it on Dratini later. Rock Tunnel is just a slog, so I'm just going to plug my socials since if you're this far into the video, you must be enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, thanks for staying I guess. I'll keep this short, but you can follow my Twitter for video updates and me ranting about football, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment so I know what stuff you'd like to see in the future. I'm aiming for 1,500 subs on this channel by the end of the year, and if you'd be so kind to donate to my Buy Me a Coffee link where you can support the channel for as low as £3 a month, which allows you to fast track video ideas to me, and to also have your name appear at the end of the video, just like at the end of this video is going to have. Was that short enough for you? Back into the video. I fast tracked myself to Celadon to get the Ice Beam TM from the department store, which will be our only dragon slaying move for much later on in the game, but for now it will be useful against Erica, but even more so against Giovanni, who I battled first. His Kangaskhan is tricky to take down due to its own strength, but we managed to take it out. Now I was going to fight Erica here, but our escape rope took us to Lavender Town, so I guess I'm fighting the rival again? He wasn't that tough due to our varied moveset, and after getting the Poker Flute, I can now go and fight Erica for real this time. The only thing that did a bit of damage on us was Victory Bell using Rap, but we know how to deal with Rap, seeing as we have the Rap God. Not to be confused with the Rap God. I don't know how good Dratini's lyrical capabilities are. Now the Gen 1 Crossroads really hit me hard here, because I don't know what I want to do at this stage. So what I did was open up more of the region by going to Fuchsia and getting their HMs for Surf and Strength, teaching the latter to Dratini over Bubble Beam. This is where I did some trial and error, mainly error, as I was on par with both the trainers in Koga's gym and the Rocket Grunts in Silphco, so I did as much training as I could against all these fools and tried the rival battle. Needless to say, we were outmatched. Pidgeot using Sand Attack rubs more salt into the wounds, rubs sand into the wounds, with us just not being good enough yet. I did have to gain a few more levels and teach Dratini Thunderbolt over Agility to help us versus the Gyarados, but the Execute and Alakazam were killers with Leech Seed and Poison Powder from the eggs that are really seeds, and critical hits galore from the spoon-wielding mustachioed man. Eventually we did get past his team, somehow, and we went to fight Giovanni, who I promptly lost to because of a speed tie not going our way. Luckily he was nice enough to delay his plans of world domination so that I can make my way back up the tower from the Pokemon Center and defeat him, saving the world from the certain doom that should have happened on my trek upstairs. So after all of that I went to the Fuchsia City Gym and went to try and beat Koga, and I was extremely close to winning on my first try, but for his last Pokemon Weezing using Self-Destruct, blowing us all away in a puff of smoke. Now technically I did win the battle as I had Pokemon in reserve to use my HM moves, but in the spirit of the challenge that counts as a loss because Dratini fainted too, so I tried again, and guess what? It happened again. And for a third time it happened. Maybe fourth time is the charm? Well, it most certainly was, as we got the vital paralysis on the Weezing, stopping it from making the big explosion, and we take it out and win the badge in legitimate circumstances this time. Now it's time for my favourite part of these games, the Quickfire Gym section. Of course these are all going to be pretty tough, and it starts with the most difficult of the lot as we face off against Sabrina. We did end up losing our first attempt courtesy of her Alakazam getting a critical hit on us, after we had taken out the rest of her team with my own critical hits. Getting paralysis hacks on this Alakazam was key, as it can hit us really hard and will more than often not win the speed tie and land more critical hits because of it. It was absolutely pivotal that we got that paralysis on it, because without it, we would have been here for a long time. So before Blaine I got the TM for Blizzard in the Pokemon Mansion, which is actually a really good move in Gen 1 due to its pretty high accuracy, but then I accidentally sold the TM later on. Oops. I went to battle Blaine just to get off this island because Cinnabar is a really ugly shade of red, so I had to escape for the sake of my eyes. Despite us resisting fire moves, we will struggle because his Rapidash loves to flinch us with Stomp. My little dragon does not like to be trampled, I'm not into that at all. It was much easier the second time round as Blaine decided that instead of using Stomp again, he would make Rapidash use Growl. I didn't really know horses could go grrr, but I suppose so. It's good for me because that means I can move on with the game, but for someone who is supposed to be the 7th gym leader, him throwing the battle makes it really embarrassing. Now it's time for the final gym, and honestly getting through the spinning tiles in the gym took longer than the actual battle. But as I was just talking about embarrassing gym leaders, it's fair to say Giovanni fits into that bracket. His 2 Nidos ruined my dream of a clean sweep on his team due to both living on the red. One last battle before the Elite Four, and it wasn't really a worry for my little dragon friend. The only concerning part was that we couldn't one-shot the Alakazam, and we all know that they do cause much mischief in Gen 1. We can't even get a super effective move for it, unlike the rest of his team, which we cover extremely well. Getting to the Elite Four and we are level 58. Our stats are all in the triple digits aside from defense, but we will need our special stat a lot more. Not to mention 3/4 of our moveset is special based, so having a higher attack is definitely great. What level do you think we'll beat the Elite Four at? So the first member of the Elite Four is gonna be a doozy. Lorelei has ice types, one of our only weaknesses in this game, so this is going to be fun with a capital F and a capital U. So after that first run, I used my remaining rare candies, and here are our new stats. As we leveled up more, each attempt got a tiny bit better before we stagnated against the Lapras. Getting to it is about as good as we can do, since taking any damage versus the initial Dugong is pretty much inevitable, making surviving any attack from Lapras impossible. I just had to keep battling for her team as much as I could to get the EXP. I didn't care about losing money at this stage, so it was just a war of attrition of actually getting through. Surely something had to give at some point. A lucky crit on my end, a miss on her Lapras's. Her Lapras never did miss though in the 800 tries it took me to win. It must have been revenge for the TM Blizzard for me selling it. I didn't mean to do it, it was an accident. One of these attempts the game finally had mercy on me and Lapras missed a Blizzard. At last, a morsel of mercy for this game. And for some reference how long this took, I had my second attempt at an in-game time of exactly 7 hours, and ended it on 7 hours 37 minutes. I know this doesn't sound like much, but when you're doing the same thing over and over again with no change in results, you feel like you're there for days. At last it's time to move on to Bruno, and please don't lose Dratini, I don't want to fight Lorelei anymore. Luckily for me, his team is a bunch of physical fighters who have really low special stats, so we won this battle damageless. Typical Bruno moment. Agatha is going to be extremely awful however, as I was more worried for her than Lorelei at the beginning. Her team has a really high special stat, making most of our moves useless, and our one physical attack doesn't even land on ghost types. What makes it even worse is her constant use of Hypnosis and Confuse Ray. What an awful battle. Maybe next time if we can actually get past Lorelei. Lorelei is getting slightly easier at a higher level due to us being able to get some of our Pokemon into the second turn Super Potion range, like the ever annoying Dugong, meaning that it doesn't actually get to attack us. I finally got back to Agatha and won this battle. It was getting pretty dicey with confusion and I had my heart in my mouth with the final attack we needed. Luckily we hit and we get to move on to the Dragon Master with our Solo Dragon. Thunderbolt is obviously going to one-shot the Gyarados and Ice Beam makes the Dragoness pretty simple, but Aerodactyl can outspeed us and obviously lands the 55% accurate Supersonic, getting some damage in on us via that. We did manage to take it out after taking substantial damage, but Dragonite using Agility, meaning we can't take it out in the second turn, dashes my hopes and dreams. I did manage to get back again however after a few more tries, especially against Lorelei and Agatha, but things were much easier that time when I wasn't confused, meaning we have become the Dragon Master of the region with just a Dratini, but we just have to become the master of the whole region now. And now it's time for our first attempt against the champion or rival with the False Dragon. Starting versus his Pidgeot, and it's a damageless start as despite us leaving it on a single pixel of HP, it uses Whirlwind, which in a solo run is pretty pointless. He sends in his Alakazam who immediately raises its defense with Reflect, which means our Body Slam doesn't do as much as planned. It hits us with a pretty strong Psychic and we have to leave it in the red, giving it a chance to use Recover. But we managed to battle past the Reflect with a critical hit, and now for the stuff that we can deal with a bit easier. Starting with the Rhydon who was surfed away. Exeggutor does survive an initial Ice Beam but can't survive the next critical hit. And the Thunderbolt zaps the Gyarados into a crispy bit of tempura. Now for the final showdown, the real dragon versus the corporate sham. We're at half health, but Surf takes him down into the yellow as it lands a slash. It getting a critical hit taking us to 23 HP and we have to hit this next attack. Luckily, there is no speed tie, no Gen 1 miss, and we land the Thunderbolt and beat the game and the champion. Meaning I've officially beaten Pokemon Red with only a Dratini, finishing the game at level 77 and with an in-game time of 8 hours, 6 minutes. Time for some closing thoughts, and Dratini was a really fun Pokemon to use due to its coverage with TM moves, but the start of the game, versus Brock especially, was pretty annoying, but also fairly funny as Rap is just a good laugh in Gen 1. I can't believe I forgot that Lorelei was an Ice-type trainer. When I was starting this run, I was like, oh, she's Water-type, so it'll be fine. No, she has like Jinx and Lapras, and yeah, I can't believe I forgot. But yes, as stated at the beginning of the video, this was a viewer suggestion, so thank you very much for the suggestion. And if you have any ideas for a challenge you want to see me take on, leave it in the comments, on my Twitter, or via my donation link in the description. And also a big thank you to my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee. If you donate, your name will appear on this list too. In terms of donators, we are aiming for 151, so everyone gets a chance at being one of the original 151 Pokemon. And I hope you did enjoy that video. Remember to leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe to the channel. My name is Super123, and I will see you all in the next video.